To install a neck on a bolt-on guitar body, you first have to clamp the neck into the pocket. I'm using a flipped-over neck plate in this example, but you can also use a plastic neck plate spacer, a popsicle stick, or any other caul that will disperse the tension from the clamp and prevent it from cracking the finish. There's a variety of clamps you can use, but this custom 2.5-inch C-clamp that my friend and mentor Steve Kubecka made for me is by far my favorite. It has an 1/8-inch mild steel bar TIG welded to the non-adjustable jaw of the clamp, with a strip of leather double-stick taped to it for padding. The normal side goes over the back of the neck pocket, while the padded steel bar side goes over the top of the frets. It also acts as a stand for the guitar, allowing it to rest at a comfortable 45-degree angle. With the neck clamped in place, put the 2 outside E-strings on, tune them up, and align the neck until both strings are evenly spaced from the edge. You can adjust this to an extent after installing the neck, but you want to get as close as possible the first time. Once you've got the alignment set, give the clamp some more tension to lock it in place. Then take a neck screw and load it into each hole, hitting it with a hammer a few times to make a solid set mark. Check the description box for a link to my video about clearing the neck pocket holes. If the holes aren't cleared, you won't be able to do this. Remove the clamp in the neck and notice the marks left by the neck screw. Take an awl and hit these marks hard a few times to make pilot holes for the drill bit. Alternatively, if you're using a brad point drill bit, you can skip using an awl entirely. The small set marks left by the neck screw are all a brad point bit needs to find center. To find the proper size for the drill bit, take one of the neck screws and measure the internal portion between the threads with digital calipers. These are measuring 123 thousandths, so I'm going to use an 1/8-inch drill bit, which measures approximately 125 thousandths. To find the proper depth, put the neck plate and one screw on and hold it so the screw is sticking all the way up while you place the drill bit beside it. Then carefully wrap masking tape around the drill bit a little below where the point of the screw is. Rest the neck on an upside-down radius block to keep it flat while using the drill press, a 10-inch radius block in this case. Alternatively, you can line a drill press vise with leather, load the neck heel into the vise, and use a bubble level to make sure it's even, shimming it up to re-angle it if necessary. I use this method in my video about how to install Easy Lock threaded inserts, which I've provided a link to in the description box. Yet another option, and my favorite option as of this video, is to use a neck rest caul with clamp holes, a C-clamp, and a clamping caul for the back of the neck. Use a bubble level to verify that the heel of the neck is flat after clamping, and, if necessary, use shims under the bottom of the neck rest caul to correct it. And remember to check both sides of the neck before drilling. You might have the first 2 holes level, but the other 2 might be out. Shim as necessary for either side individually. Drill carefully to the masking tape line for every hole. For regular drill bits, I'll hold the workpiece lightly at first and make a shallow initial cut. This will pull the workpiece slightly and make sure the bit is dead centered over the original pilot hole. Then I'll hold the workpiece firmly in place and drill to depth. Brad point bits aren't so forgiving, but they're also used with much smaller set marks that are much easier to line up dead center from the start. Keep in mind that there's a little leeway with accuracy here, as you can realign bolt-on necks after installation as long as there's enough room to move the neck slightly left or right. Now for one last step to future-proof the neck installation. Countersink the screw holes and wet them out with some water-thin superglue. You don't have to go crazy with the countersink, but remember that those neck screws are pretty big and pretty aggressive. Sufficiently relieving the neck screw holes with countersinks will help prevent the screws from tearing up the wood, and saturating the countersinks with CA glue will provide even more insurance. It also goes a long way in making sure the job looks as clean and professional as possible. A little wax on every screw makes a world of difference as well, and is a step you should never skip. Screw wax is the best wax I've found. And I mean literally. It's actually called screw wax. It's rather surprising that that name wasn't taken already. I also prefer using a stubby screwdriver for tightening neck screws, as it gives the most torque, the most comfortable grip, and the least chance of slipping. Now, if only installing a bolt-on neck was always this straightforward. There are a few caveats that I didn't cover in this video, but I cover in other videos which I've provided links to in the description box. I'll show you some sneak peeks for now before you decide to go check those videos out. Neck heels that are too thick, so the neck pocket needs to be routed down. Neck pockets that are uneven and need to be flattened. Neck heels that are too thin, so the neck pocket needs to be shimmed up. and if it's got a fingerboard extension, the underside of the extension may even need to be routed down in order for the neck to fit properly. I'm constantly updating my playlists as I encounter new jobs, come up with new techniques, and find better ways of doing things. So be sure to check out those playlists and the description boxes on all my videos for the most up-to-date information. And, as always, stay tuned for more guitar everything, right here on Guitar MD.